wine was probably first planted in Moravia by Roman legionnaires in the 3rd century after Christ. This is supported by the discovery of a vine knife on a bank below Palava. Archaeologists have unearthed a number of other knives in Moravia which were used to care for grapevine. They date back to the times of Great Moravia, which proves that the Old Slavs knew vine well and were able to grow it. A well-known legend from 892 tells of Moravian wine, which Duke Svatopluk gave to the Czech Duke Borzhivoj to celebrate the birth of his son Spitiniev. This wine was so powerful that when offered to the goddess of abundance, it brought heavy rain, and the disaster of drought in Bohemia was staved off. In the early Middle Ages, monasteries greatly influenced the development of viniculture in Moravia. Thanks to their effort, compact vineyards were created in suitable places instead of scattered fields. This enabled better protection against pests and thieves. Vine was undoubtedly harvested also for the monastery Rosa Coeli in Dolní Konitsa. Vine still flourishes in this little town near Brno, and particularly Frankovka does well on the local gravelly soil. In the 13th century, Brno burghers also began to do business in viniculture. They would set up vineyards not only in close vicinity of the town, but also in the country all over South Moravia. They would bring young plants from Austria as well as the distant Rhineland.
Moravěnko, Moravěnko, ty jsi rodná země, z tebe jsem se narodil a už jsi navždy ve mně.
In 1243, through royal prerogative, King Václav I gave the city the right of mile. No craftsmen, tradesmen or taverns, which could compete with local businessmen, were allowed within a mile of the city. This also gave Brno burghers a monopoly on the cultivation and sale of wine in the town. Wine served not only for amusement and as an essential element of Christian church service, it was also considered to be a medicinal beverage, and it played an important role during cholera outbreaks, when it replaced or disinfected contaminated drinking water. Therefore, wine, together with beer, became an increasingly popular drink. The promulgation of the Vine Law was an important milestone for wine in Moravia, a body of regulations which instructed how to properly take care of the vineyard and work with wine. The Emperor Charles IV supported vine growers by a decree which stated that when they started a new vineyard, they did not have to pay taxes and levies for 12 years. And the Margrave John Henry, for example, established harsh physical punishments for grape thieves. In 1497, King Ladislaus II Jagiellon ordered professional wine tasting before its introduction to shops. The Emperor Rudolf II appreciated the originality of Moravian wines so much that he forbade their adulteration with foreign wine and restricted import of foreign wines. The 30 Years' War interrupted the development of viniculture in Moravia for some time. However, as early as in the second half of the 17th century, vine growers were prospering again. At that time, mixed wines from various varieties used to be rung and named after the village it came from. Moravin used to be common, a pink wine made from a mixture of white and blue grapes. Varietal wines were rarely consumed. Silvaner variety was appreciated, at that time known as Moravka. Cellars under the taverns and houses of vine growers could not hold the amount of produced wine, and thus they expanded spontaneously in various directions under the public spaces. At that time, the spacious cellar of the Premonstratensian monastery in Zabrudovica was built. It is used for wine storage even today. After various negative events, such as phylloxera, or the socialist method of farming, the tradition of vine growing in the south of Moravia has survived until today, and the vine-growing villages prosper. Wine is a part of social life, which, in Moravia, takes place at various folklore events. Feasts, pilgrim festivities, grape harvests, harvest festivals, and similar events are an opportunity to taste good wine. A bike trip through the vine trails is a great way to enjoy the rolling landscape of South Moravia in all its stunning beauty. Marked cycling trails connect vine-growing villages, lead through the best locations and have beautiful views. Particularly, white wines do well in South Moravia, and their reputation is steadily growing abroad. Grüner Veltliner, a yellow-green wine with an almond aroma, is a variety which prospers in the northernmost part of the vine-growing region, at a location where the great Napoleonic battle at Austerlitz took place. In Moravia, you can also taste Rhine Riesling and Welsh Riesling, Noble Pinot Blanc, Chardonnay, and it is definitely worth sampling the sweet-smelling Moravian Muscat. The best locations in Moravia are planted with high-quality Sauvignon. Miller-Thurgau is also a widespread variety and is often used for the production of young St. Martin wines. St. Martin wines are young wines which are light and fresh and with a low alcohol content. Their popularity is growing steadily. The first bottles with this wine are opened on St. Martin's Day, a vine-growing patron. Martin is not the only saint looking after the crop of each vine grower. There are several venerated patrons. You are most likely to hear about Saint Urban, but may also hear about Saint Wenceslas, Saint Bartholomew, or John the Baptist. Burchak is also a popular beverage. It is a half-fermented young wine which announces that the vine harvest is in full swing. The urban growth of today's Brno has swallowed the former vineyards, after which names of streets and suburbs remain. However, there are plenty of wine bars and restaurants in Brno where you can taste high-quality wine from South Moravia.